Here we are for another weekly lesson, and today's lesson is imperative. It is so necessary, and it is a key ingredient to living the life of our dreams. Like, if there was a key ingredient, one, like baking powder or salt or something that if you just don't put it in there, it just doesn't taste totally right. Like, you keep looking around going, did I forget something? Am I missing something? This would be that ingredient, okay? And today we're gonna talk about faith. Now, I think that what can happen with this concept of faith is that we make it such a religious thing and we over spiritualize it so much that we don't actually get to benefit from the application of it in our lives. Because here's the truth, we all live by faith. It's a part of our everyday life, right? Like, you and I have faith that when we get in the car and drive from our home to our work, that the person next to us is not going to run into us, right? Like, we had faith last night when we went to bed that we would wake up this morning. We have faith that when we get on a bicycle and ride, that thing is not just going to fall over on us, right? Like, faith is a part of our everyday life. And if we don't really understand it, or we call it or consider it something that's too spiritual or religious, then we don't ever apply it, which is why our cake doesn't taste as good. You know what I'm saying? So today we're going to talk about what is faith, why do we need it, and how do we actually apply it to get the benefit in our lives. If you joined me last week, it was all about fear. And we have so many fears, right? Like, there was the fear of failure, fear of success. We talked about the fear of loss, the fear of judgment. We talked about the fear of losing identity or control. Not that I know anything about it, but if I did, we talked about the fear of the future, blah, blah, blah. Like, we have all of these fears. We're all very in tune to our fears. And I even had a friend who texted me after that video and said, okay, I just want to live fearless. How many of you sitting there would go, me too, I just want to live fearless. Like, I don't want to feel the fear. That, honey, is not what we're trying to do. It is not about living fearless. It is about fanning into flame the gift that we've all actually been given. And instead of living fearless, we ought to live with faith. You see that switch up, that change up here? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to stop trying to live fearless, and we're going to start living by faith, walking by faith. This is how we get through the fear. We live despite the fear. We live past the fear, but we're not trying to live fearless. That will never do its job. Okay, so today's lesson is all about walking in faith. Okay, so let's do this. So how do we do that? How do we live by faith? How do we walk by faith? How do we walk in faith so that we actually can see our dreams manifested in the world around us? Well, let's look at the definition of what faith is. So again, we can all start at the same starting line, okay? So faith, by definition, Merriam-Webster, thank you very much, is the belief without evidence, okay? It also means complete trust in someone or something. If we were to summarize it into a Bible verse context, it would be Hebrews 11:1 that says it's the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. Another translation says it's the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Okay, this is why in my book I talk extensively about living in faith, because what you are currently dreaming and what you have today are two totally and completely different things, right? Like, if your dream is to lose weight and to live healthy, but today your current reality says that you are 50 pounds overweight and you don't feel vital at all, two totally, completely different things. If you dream of connection and passion in your marriage or relationship of any sort, but what you have today is not that, it's disconnected, right? Two totally and completely different things. If you dream of having your own business and starting that thing and writing that book, opening that church, whatever it is that is, and what you have today says a job that I don't love and I'm barely getting by, where you are and where you want to be are two totally different things. And so what that's going to require is that you are clear enough on the thing that you're dreaming and then bold enough to get your butt from where you are to where you want to be. That requires faith, y'all. It's not just strategy. It's not just a how-to. It's not just a perfect equation on how to make that happen. It's the faith that you're going to get your butt from where you are to where you want it to be. That is faith. It's the belief in something that is hoped for, the assurance, the trust, the confidence, and the evidence of things not seen. I don't see it yet. I don't see it yet. And am I convicted enough, resolved enough, assured enough, trusting enough to make it happen? Like, this sounds so simple, and it is. It's simple, stupid, hard. Gotta love that one. Simple, stupid, hard. It's the fact that, am I so assured in what I'm hoping for? Am I so resolved about what I want? Am I so convinced that I don't need anything around me or anyone around me to tell me that it's possible, because I already believe it's possible? Faith is the key ingredient that then takes me from where I am to where I want to be. Now it's not just about being fearless. It's about walking by faith and not only being so convicted by what I'm seeing, but now moving my butt in such a way that proves to me and the world around me that I mean business. Like, this is the game changer, y'all. This is where there's two parts to this faith piece, right? Because I think sometimes we want to sit back and wait to feel like it. I want to wait to see everything come together. I want that thing, that dream that I'm wanting, the thing that God's telling me to do, I want that to come and meet me, but we have this thing backwards, okay? So here are the two steps that I want you to write down about doing this. Number one, we have to believe. We have to take the time to see what it is that we want so much, that we are so resolved about it, right? That it becomes substance. I love this verse. It says it's the substance of things hoped for. It's not just a pipe dream. It's a resolve. I've closed my eyes and I felt it so deep within me that I can actually feel it. It's the substance of things hoped for. That is such clarity. That is such resolve. That is such trust that I can feel it, even when I don't see it. That's step number one. It's making whatever it is that you're going for, whatever it is that you're wanting, it's your responsibility to see it and to feel it so much that it becomes substance to you at such a deep level in here. Then step two means I am going to have to move. Faith means moving towards, going towards what it is that you want. It's action. It's walking in faith. It doesn't mean sitting here on my couch in faith. It means that I've created such substance around the things that I want and I'm dreaming and that God's pulling me towards that I can't not start to move towards those things, right? Fear does not go away until I move through it. Fear doesn't just become a null and void topic until I move right smack through the eye of the needle and I move through it with my faith. Yeah, but Julia, I don't see any evidence around me. Move anyways. Yeah, but Julia, you don't understand the world around me or the circumstances or what my life looks like. You go anyways. You go despite the fear. You go despite the obstacles. That means that your dream, your call, your thing has to be bigger and louder to move you through it. It's not about waiting for the fear to go away. It's about building your faith so it's bigger than the fear. I've talked about this time and time again in most of these videos, is that whatever has your attention has your life. And so does your fear have your attention, or does your faith have your attention? Right? We want to be fearless. Let's stop being fearless and instead be full of faith. Okay, here's how we do this. 3 things. Number 1, first, you have to decide where you want to be. You have to get clear on the dreams that God's put within you. That is your job. That is your responsibility. Get clear. You have to get clear on what you want most, not what's going on around you, not what historically you've always had, not what somebody else has, what it is that you want to have. If you don't know what that is, I just did a 4-part series in our closed Facebook group that was designed specifically for this. Go join that closed Facebook group and we will give you access to all of those videos. But that is step number 1. You have to decide where you want to be, okay? Step number 2, you have to build your conviction and resolve in order to get there, right? You have to build your belief. Right? I love that Bible verse that says, fan into flame, okay? This is 1 Timothy, here it is, okay, everyone. It says 1 Timothy 1:6. For this reason, I remind you to fan into flame the gift of God. But if you look prior to that, he says in verse 5, I am reminded of your sincere faith. So what he's basically saying is that if for this reason, I remind you to fan into flame the gift of God, the gift of faith that you have been given. You have to build that up, y'all. You have to be willing to build your conviction and your resolve and to fan the flame to make a believer out of you. You have to believe it before you see it. I don't care if the world believes it. I don't care if your brothers, sisters, cousins believe it. I wonder, and I want to know, do you believe it before you see it? You have to be so clear about the dream and then so resolved about making it happen that then number 3 happens, which means you go. You move, you chase that thing, you follow that thing. And when that fear is right in front of you, that you move right through it because you see what's on the other side. That substance of things hoped for is bigger than the evidence of the things that you see. Then you move. It's walking by faith. This is the gift, right? For this reason, I remind you to fan into flame. You fanned it into flame and now you're moving. And here's where this gets good. As you move in faith, as you take the step of faith that it's possible, that you can have more connection and passion in your relationships, that you can build that business, that you can do that thing, whatever it is that God's asked you to do, whatever is on the inside of you to do, as you move through the resistance and through the struggle and through the hardship and through the obstacles, you're actually building your muscle of faith, which means you are getting stronger. That means that yes, every obstacle and negative situation and loss and pain and grief could absolutely break you. It will absolutely break you if you let it. Or it is an opportunity to build within you strength and resolve and conviction and everything you need to keep going to where you want to be. Right? In James, this is one of my favorite in James. James 1:2 says, my fellow believers, when it seems as though you are facing nothing but difficulties, sound familiar? I don't know, 2020. See it as an invaluable opportunity to experience the greatest joy that you can. For you know that when your faith is tested, it stirs up power within you to endure all things. And then as your confidence, and as your endurance grows, even stronger, it will release perfection into every part of your being until there is nothing missing and nothing lacking. You guys, experience the greatest joy that you can. For when your faith is tested, it stirs up power within you to endure all things. And then as your endurance grows, it releases perfection in every part of your being. I don't know what else you want from me. Your fear is giving you opportunity for your faith to be fueled. Your fear is giving you the opportunity right now for your faith to be fueled, for it to be tested and perfected, to release something so beautiful in your life that nothing will be missing and nothing will be lacking. That thing standing in your way is giving you the chance to be better, to live full of faith, to live despite the obstacles, to live in joy despite the evidence of things around you. We are looking at this thing glass half empty as opposed to glass half full. Boom. This is the answer right here. Hope fulfilled, dreams fulfilled, everything we want, heaven on earth, the life that's possible for us is walking faith. Hope fulfilled is walking faith. Living fearless is walking in faith. That, my friends, is how we overcome. That is how we overcome. So this is not about living fearless. You're human. I'm human. Fear is inevitable. It's part of the game. It's about deciding to walk in faith. Indiana Jones, Moana, Martin Luther King Jr., Esther, you. It's about you walking by faith one step at a time. And here's why faith is so beautiful, is when you're paying attention to faith and not the fear, your path will be illuminated. That doesn't mean you're going to see A to Z. That doesn't mean you see from here to the North Pole. That doesn't mean you see here to the end of 2021. What that means is that your faith will illuminate the next step. Maybe not all of them. Likely not all of them. The next step. And after you take that step, you'll see a couple more. And after you take those steps, you'll see a couple more. It's an illumination play. You guys, it's a shift in how we move. Faith keeps us back. It keeps us paralyzed. Fear keeps us held back. It keeps us paralyzed. Faith gets us moving one step at a time, not sprinting, not burning ourselves out, not in fight or flight, not reactionary, step by step, bit by bit, illuminating the path, getting grounded in every step that we take, getting more resolved with every step that we take, believing more with every step that we take, trusting more with every step that we take, which is why we find our joy, because we are becoming the person we were created to be, step by step, bit by bit, faith walk after faith walk. So today I encourage you, do not try to live fearless and instead live full of faith. Let me remind you that we have an amazing text message community going on. If you text DREAM NOW to 22999, we will actually deliver these encouraging messages straight to your phone. Bing, bang, boom, zing you with some truth and insight to help you live the life of your dreams. And don't forget, subscribe, click the like button, and of course, share with one person today who would also love this gift, this key ingredient of fanning the flame so they can live fearless.